and ZB. Good morning.
Good morning. What's happening here?
That's
Why is
yours.
that camera not looking at me well?
It's looking at you, Tegan.
It's not me, oh, it's someone that put the camera. I didn't put it well. Good morning, everybody. It's a new week. It's a good week, apart from the fact that Matt not put me on camera. So if you don't see me, you know who to blame.
Go on
But
YouTube and you find Tegan there.
but
That's
yeah,
it.
oh my goodness. This weekend was bloody. It was bloody. It was good and it was bad. So good in the sense that if you're following me on YouTube, and you should, 4 out of 4. I said the four quarter finalists, the four semi-finalists, and it happened like that. It was very bad at the Wimbledon this week. It was bloody. There was blood on the dance floor, from Shriontek's blood to Coco Gauff's blood. It was just bad. So we'll talk about all of that. We'll also talk about Emma Raducanu. Some people are saying it's karma that caught up with her.
Americano.
Emma
Oh,
Raducanu.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why.
Are you hungry?
I actually am.
Mine's on the 20th anniversary or
People,
thereabout
people,
of Chinese.
Yes.
people
So
should send that food. Send that food. All right. So we'll
A
talk
lot.
about all of that. Whether it was karma, whether it wasn't karma. We'll touch on Copa America. Um, we'll touch on some people that are moving to Bayern Munich. So Bayern Munich has finished reading the Bundesliga. They've now started reading the Premier League. So we'll talk about all of that and more. But before we do any talking, Zibi, how can we be a part of the locker room this morning?
All right, you know it, but I'll just let you know again. The WhatsApp number is 0809 4440981. You can tweet at smooth981. And we're streaming live on YouTube as well. Hi, that's the camera right there. We're on our channel, smooth981. You can catch everything and even post a comment on that live stream.
All right. So we're done with that. And Omashe, can you tell us the headlines for this
on the
morning?
bill this morning comes high expectations as Nigeria fields 82 athletes for the 2024 Paris Olympics. And then I thought it was never going to happen again. Hamilton is the one speaking as golf's Wimbledon woes continue in Navarro's defeat. And then comes this one: France aim to silence critics against depleted Spain for sport in Euros final. And then there will be Uruguay beat Brazil on penalties to reach Copa America semi-final. And then what else would you find? Match relishing Canada's semi-final clash with Argentina, as well as Bayern announced signing of winger Olise from Crystal Palace.
All right. So we start from our team. We are going to we're
Yay!
going to Paris. So let's talk about that.
All right, now the Nigeria Olympics contingent has been named, and sports fans around the country now know who will be representing the country and in which event at the Paris Olympics. Team Nigeria will soon depart for the quadrennial event in the French capital.
Yes. We are getting ready. We are hopeful for medals. And I can tell you we are hopeful for medals. We're hopeful for medals in wrestling. We're hopeful for medals in the hurdles. Sorry, I'm hopeful for medals in the hurdles and maybe a world record just to sweeten the deal. You
Yes,
understand?
Toby.
Not like we're asking too much, just small world record, small. So we are looking at that. I also think we're going to get to the long jump with Ese Brume. We just may do something at a high jump. I don't think we are going to get to medal position, but I'm sure we're going to put our names on the map. So yeah, so far so good. I also think Onyekwero can throw her shot put a little bit further. Will she be able to compete with the Americans and the Polish? I do not know. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, the named. I would say that when they named the team, I was like, okay, this is a good list. I don't think there's anybody here that I would take out of the list. Is my point. Maybe one or two could have been added, but it was their times. Or sometimes you are doing so well all season, and then the big day for qualification, you don't perform well. So I'd say we have a good list. But I've told you where my medals are coming from. If you're hopeful for a medal somewhere else, you can let us know. Also, but so far, I think um from the hurdles, from the long jump, and from wrestling. Yeah.
And that looks like a fine place to race down to the tracks and see if the steam has left. Now, Lewis Hamilton has had to wait for it, but he finally had his moment of redemption at the British Grand Prix and returned to the top step of a Formula One podium 2 years, 7 months, and 2 days since he last stood there.
Yeah, tough one for it's been tough for Mercedes, but ever since somebody said that Mercedes was deliberately sabotaging Lewis Hamilton, have you noticed how fast his car is going? Almost as if they have a point to prove.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything, Toto. I know you're honest, but I'm just mentioning as it's happening.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we are seeing now. He was struggling beginning of season. Next thing you know, he's on podium. Next thing you know, he has won a race after a comment was made. I'm not saying that 1 + 1 = 2. I'm just saying if you put one and you put another one, things can double. So here we are. But solid race yesterday, and it was a mad race. I would start from this. So British Grand Prix, British weather. It rained, the sun came out, and everything else in between. And with each change of the weather came the change of fortunes for the driver on the grid. So he didn't just win a race that maybe he qualified well or he started from a good position. He won a race that was in the trickiest of conditions. He was consistent through all the conditions. So when the race started, he was in second place. First of all, the qualifiers for the first time ever in the British Grand Prix, 3 British drivers qualified in top three. So it was George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, and Lando Norris. All the British people were excited. Then the race started, and something happened to Lando's car. Um, Russell went, Hamilton went, and then Verstappen from nowhere overtook Norris. And then there was Piastri also somewhere in the mix. Then the rain started falling a little bit. And with the rains falling, again, the position of the grid changed. At some point, it looked like the McLarens were getting on. Piastri, Norris, they were in there. Lewis Hamilton was in third. George Russell was in fourth. And it was looking like Red Bull was out of the race. And maybe Max Verstappen was going to finish fifth or sixth. Then the rain stopped falling. And they had to start changing tires. And next thing you know, the McLarens that were 1 and 2 had dropped to 3 and 4. Yeah. Lewis Hamilton had gone to the front of the Lewis Hamilton had gone to the front of the race. George Russell's car had to be retired because he was suffering from a water pump issue. And then Max Verstappen, who was not anywhere in the race, was now somewhere in the mix. So it was a crazy turn of events. But I think through it all, Lewis Hamilton just maintained his steez, is all I'm going to say. Because towards the last few laps, I had to put that in. Because I don't know how that guy can drive for 2 hours in that hot condition and his edges will still be laid. He has to teach me something. But this guy, he doesn't have the best choice of tires, I would say, towards the end. Because he took on the soft tires. It's the fastest tires, but it doesn't last that long. Verstappen, on the other hand, went on the hard compound tires. It takes a while to build up, but it finishes strong. And so Verstappen was hunting down everybody like evil spirit, and he was knocking them off one after the other. Knocked out Lando Norris. Lando Norris didn't even put up a fight, almost as if he had PTSD from the last time they clashed with each other on the track. We expected Lando Norris to fight a little bit. He just moved over to one side. I said, please, pass if you are going. And then he left off.
More like overtaking is allowed.
Exactly, overtaking is allowed. Just be game before you knock me out of this race. And then Verstappen is chasing Lewis Hamilton down. And Bono, who is his driver, or I call him his work wife, is now trying to talk to him on the radio, telling him that, you know what, Verstappen is making faster times in this sector and that sector. Lewis was just like, leave me alone. I beg, let me concentrate on my driving. And silence. He focused on that driving, because at some point it looked like Verstappen was eating into his time, but Lewis Hamilton focused enough to win the race. His 104th win. The closest person has 90 something, 90, 91. Fasha. Lewis Hamilton just keeps making this record. So yes, after more than 2 years, he's back on the front, on the top steps. It was beautiful to see. Everybody was now emotional. Everybody was crying. He was crying. We were crying. Jason Button wasn't crying, but he was emotional. So.
Now, in this case, it feels good to cry because he won. But when someone cries somewhere on the pitch the other day,
how can you cry with 15 minutes to the end of the race?
Okay.
This one, he won the race first, then he cried.
You cry, you win, then you cry.
Okay. You don't cry in between and give us psychological damage. Cry has timing.
All right, 0809 That is the WhatsApp number to send your messages to. Let's move on to the next story. Coco Gauff became the latest high-profile seed to suffer a shock exit in the women's singles at Wimbledon as she lost to fellow American Emma Navarro.
Now, first of all, Emma Navarro is playing amazing tennis. She's been on a good run in her last few tournaments, and this one is not any different. So, brilliant performance. It was always going to be tough. As soon as I saw Coco with Emma Navarro, I thought she was going to make it through. I knew it was going to be tough. I did not expect that Coco Gauff would lose in straight sets to Navarro. It's like Navarro had her mumu button. That's all I can say. Everything Coco Gauff churned out, Navarro was like, I can top that. And it was that simple. Coco Gauff was beaten, soundly beaten on the day. So it's tough to see her leave because especially after Iga Swiatek lost. Did I mention that Iga Swiatek lost in three? Yeah, in 3 sets. She took a bathroom break to calm down. It didn't work.
Not today.
When she came out of the bathroom, the girl was like, "That jazz you went to do there, I have my own jazz here." The girl put it ever bitter. But so after Iga Swiatek was knocked out, Sabalenka pulled out through injury. The big names that people were touting to win Wimbledon, Rybakina, former champion here in 2020, and Coco Gauff. But Coco Gauff was so disappointing yesterday. So tough one, but she lost and she's out of the tournament. Madison Keys also lost yesterday to Paolini. Big names have fallen on the women's draw. The men's draw, they're just very boring. Novak Djokovic is still in. He's playing Holger Rune today. I expect him to beat Holger Rune for the simple reason that Holger Rune is great. Is a great tennis player, but sometimes he cannot keep his emotions in check. And guess who the master of emotions are? Novak Djokovic. He will use those emotions to play you like a string. So it's going to be a tough one for Holger Rune, but I think Novak Djokovic could come through that one today. Yesterday, Yannick Sinner played against Ben Shelton, came through. Alcaraz played. Who did Alcaraz play again yesterday? But he also came through. So the big names have come through so far. Very boring men's tennis. Women's tennis is where it should be.
Now, just because you mentioned Djokovic, there's this talk. What's people would like to know what your take would be on the 5-set thing they've been talking about.
What are they complaining about? Is that not what we've been doing since? Why do they have testosterone? My friend gets on the field and
so would that go for equal women would also do?
How much testosterone do we have? Did you notice I mentioned the hormone?
Okay.
You see, when they start saying all this thing about it, you have to understand. 5-set tennis is. I don't know who is complaining about 5-set tennis, but if you don't like 5-set tennis, the only other option is don't play Grand Slam. Okay. Stick to Masters. Leave it. Don't come and tweak what is normal and what is not. It's not even a conversation to be had. It's not.
Okay.
All right, 0809 We see the messages coming. Please keep them coming. We'll take more of them on the other side. Stay with us. It's the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1.
Don't mind these dirty men. They want to play 3 sets.
I don't know, but all of a sudden, why? Check it out. Okay. It's because today, yes.
Today, because I was trying to find back.
Check. You see.
They want to play 3 sets.
I don't know why this Djokovic of all people is now.
He should get out.
Talking about it.
Maybe they've told him not to drink his juice again.
Like, why? I thought we've gone past this before. We've gone past this before. Why are we having this conversation again?
Skin health day.
Yes.
Okay. I thought
it
it
was,
no.
Okay,
Good.
He can't switch. He has already played for him. He can't switch.
No,
I'm not talking
because I
about
was checking that and I saw it.
Okay.
Leave my leg before you break it.
And Emma, after letting this man down,
Yes, People were saying karma.
Yeah,
People were saying it was
yeah,
karma.
so
I
all
was
of
me. I started laughing. I was like, should you wanted to?
I said you wanted to you
Wicked
didn't want to
people.
waste your effort on you want to
Wicked
concentrate on your
people.
game. Now, how does it go? What is it looking like now? The game that made you saved all your time for it.
A brighter tomorrow begins with smart choices today with the correct account.
And this was the man you said you drew a lot of inspiration from.
I was so happy that she lost to a,
Ah.
to a qualifier. She beat all the big names and lost to a random person. I was so happy. It's like you never had her.
Never see it coming.
Karma, I was so happy. And the man could have picked anybody else. He said she chose. He didn't choose you. He asked you. He said, "Can you play?" You said yes. If you said no, he'll move along.
Okay, Max, please, you bring us in.
Union Bank, your simpler, smarter bank.
Excuse me.
Messages?
Messages.
Freshly pressed, grapevine, the locker room, and more.
It's still the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. Tega's still here. I've got President Zibi still here, and we're getting into the locker room to get the messages out right now. We see you waiting already, so let's go. Let's stop by on our YouTube platform and see what it's looking like. Padro Pio says, I'm concerned with how France and England are playing boring football and sneaking their way almost to the finals. Annoying, he says. And Abiodun Obisheson says, the god of soccer has deemed it fit to bless us with great fixtures at the Euros and Copa America, Spain and Argentina to come through thereafter. And then on WhatsApp, we've got Lanre from the abroad saying, Silverstone, you saucy track. Very exciting to race from start to finish, and we're only really watching the 6 cars at the front. What an emotional win that was for Sir Lewis. Not a dry eye in the house when it was celebrating with Anthony and Carmen. To the uninitiated, if you want to understand why we talk about tire choice so much in F1, go watch the race and see how the wrong tire cost Lando a win yesterday. Larry from the abroad.
Yep, tire choice is very important.
And then this one says, well, Tega, you having someone edging you on to probably make me cry like Ronaldo also here. Cruz is the one here, says, you can see the message here. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, let's take some of the stories since we've already touched on Euros.
All right, let's go back to the stories. And this one seems to be very, very interesting. Goal shy France will be looking to silence the critics when they take on Spain in their Euro 2024 semi-finals clash on Tuesday in Munich, when their opponents hope to keep their impressive campaign going even without key players.
Well, interesting one for this matchup. I just want to say that this is time for us to sift. You know, football, in as much as for a coach, football is about you're as good as your last result and all. For us, please, football is entertainment, it's art. All these one people are playing drab football and making it. We don't want all that rubbish here. And so I think this semi-final is time to sift the wheat from the chaff. Let's just get it out. So Spain is taking on the French side now. There has to be goals in this one for me. I have seen the French being a little vulnerable in defense, even if they've managed to be stingy about giving away goals. I have seen them being vulnerable in defense, and I've also seen the attack that the Spanish have. My goodness, those people can play ball. And so yes, they'll be missing. It'd be interesting because they'll be missing Carvajal for this one, and he's very solid. You know, sometimes a solid defense can give rise to very good offense, and if you are struggling in defense, it may be a little hard to build an attack. However, I still think that the Spanish have more than enough to trouble this French side and maybe get the goal. So if you ask me, Tigano Jaife, Spain should make it through convincingly based on the display at this tournament alone. The French haven't been able to score. The French are still struggling. Even Mbappe is still having PTSD about his broken nose. His last match, somebody, they actually did hit his face. But it wasn't the kind of, I think it was more the fear that they're about to break his nose again. Or the
Oh.
way he lay down on the floor and held down his face, like, Jesus, these people are about to spoil my good looks.
If you've been bitten by a snake before, when you see an
You'd be
earthworm,
very afraid. So he's very
Mm.
mindful, and he's not. I don't think he's in full physical fitness. He feels like he's fatigued all the time. So it's tricky for the French side. I don't think their problem is even just the attack. It's that midfield. As much as you have N'Golo Kante running um from end to end, that's that's not what you need to create as many chances as you need to create. And so their creativity is a little bit stifled. They're struggling through it, making too many passes, building too slowly, and by the time they get ready to take a shot, the opposition has already um, set their defense in place. So I think Spain is going to come through this one. I don't know that they will get to penalty shootouts, but Spain should win this match.
that takes us to Uruguay now. Uruguay beat Brazil on penalties, 4 goals to 2, to reach the semifinals of the Copa America after an ugly game ended goalless on Saturday.
Yes, no, that game, it was not. We shouldn't call it an ugly game. We should just call it war. It's like there's a higher expectation of for fouling in South American football. It's almost like if you want the referee to bring out a yellow card, you have to bring a doctor's report that they have fractured something in your body.
Yeah.
No, the tackles they're making, it's almost like it's personal. And the referee was just like, that's normal football. No, that's Shaolin football. Normal football. You don't make tackles like that. How is that person getting away with it? And it was bad. It was like the Brazilian players were trying to do the samba, the Uruguayan players were like, you think they're here to play with you?
Yeah.
And it was hack a Brazilian. I think that was the theme of the match. Hack a Brazilian down. They eventually got a red card, which meant they set up defensively to stop the Brazilians from scoring. But I would the lack of creativity with the Brazilians was questioning, because with a better numerical advantage, they couldn't make good, access into the Uruguayan defense. So as much as you want to argue about the aggression and the excessive physicality by the Uruguayans, you also have to question the lack of ingenuity or creativity by the Brazilians to 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 take advantage of that situation and win the match. So yeah, Uruguay are through to the semifinals, Brazil are out, and we can now all agree that Ronaldinho may not have been wrong in his assessment, even if we may have to agree that the way he put it out was questionable.
All right, Canada. Okay, let's start with Turkey. Turkey coach Vincenzo Montella said his team's Euro 2024 campaign has earned them respect after they were eliminated 2-1 by the Netherlands on Saturday in the quarterfinal.
Where did he get this recipe? At the supermarket.
Evil.
Nobody sent you for it. Did you win? No. Then go. But yeah, they did impress at this tournament. I think it was the ridiculousness of some people that said, "Oh, Turkey was going to beat Netherlands." I was like, "How? From where?" And don't get me wrong, when somebody is good, when somebody has a good game, we should applaud that, but don't get carried away. The Dutch, as much as they haven't delivered on the promise, they have created chances. If you look at their chance ratio to the amount of ball possession they have, they're one of the teams with some of the highest creation rate. I think it's Germany, no, it's Spain, Germany, then the Dutch. And that's how well they've created chances, but they kind of moved under the radar because they're not converting a lot of those chances. And so I understood why some people could want to say that Turkey had a chance, but to say outright that Turkey would categorically beat the Dutch didn't make any sense. In fact, let me tell you how easy it was. All other matches went into extra time, apart from the Dutch match. They're like, you know what, we have a cookout. we, we cannot be here on Saturday playing around with you. We have a cookout. So they got the equal. They went behind. Then they got an equalizer. Then they got the second goal. And then it looked like Turkey was going to get a goal, and then they created a chance I think Gakpo should have buried. But he's been forgiven because he scored one of the goals. But yeah, it was interesting to see the Turkish really gave a good account of themselves. Unfortunately, they just fell a little short due to the quality of the opposition they're playing against on the day.
Speaking about Turkey, the player, the political player, did he play in that game or that ban stood?
Oh, I think the band's too. Let me
Okay, because I'm
confirm.
wondering if him being absent from that game might have made a
He
difference.
nothing. He don't do anything. What did he want to do? He wanted to stop the ball and go. what? What is like? Look, if Jude Bellingham misses the English game, some people will say, "Oh, without Jude Bellingham, the English can't play well." Not necessarily true. I understand that you saw the overhead kick, but the way the English team is set up, I don't think it's that's their problem.
Okay.
That was not the problem. Don't worry.
Let's race down now. Canada's coach Jesse Marsh said his team were relishing the chance to face world champions Argentina in the Copa America
They
semi-finals
want to lose again.
after Friday's shock win over Venezuela.
I don't know why this is a shock win. But yeah, I would say this: the Canadians have given a good account of themselves. Unfortunately, they met Argentina in the group stage. They lost 2-0, and that was just the start of the tournament. This is Argentina in the middle of a tournament. I understand that Jismash and his boys would have seen some things from the group stage that will make them prepare better for Argentina, but so did Argentina.
Mhm.
And Argentina has the experience at this stage towards the end of tournaments to convert whatever advantage they have into wins. So it's going to be a tough one. I like the fact that he's relishing it. And the good news for me is that they're going to put in a better effort. They're going to play a little differently. I just still think that no matter what they bring, the Argentines will kind of prepare for them and take it out. I still see Argentina in the finals. So I'm happy that Jismash is happy his boys are in the semifinals. But that may be his only joy that they made it to the semifinals.
All right, now Eric Ten Hag has signed a contract extension that keeps him at Old Trafford up until 2026.
Sorry?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. I told you before the show that we'll fight on this matter.
Don't say now.
All
That's
right.
exciting.
No. We're trying to. That story was supposed to be about Olise signing for Bayern Munich.
Okay. Let's see.
All right,
Let's
so Olise has signed a contract for Bayern Munich. People were talking about him moving to. Sorry, some Chelsea fans were talking about him moving their long truth. But Bayern Munich came just the same way they came for company. They came and they've signed him. So it's like Bayern Munich now has money to be raiding the Premier League. That's what they mean. Because before, there's every good player they say in the Bundesliga, they buy up the good player. Now they've started looking at players in the Premier League. And you know what? If Bayern Munich comes for you at the end of the day, you'd say yes. They don't even have to woo you too much. No need for flowers and chocolates. Just
greed.
They won't even come and ask you politely. They just be like, follow me. And you say, you follow them. And so it's already an exciting prospect for Bayern Munich. First of all, they came and took Harry Kane. Now they've come to take Michael Olise. Who knows who they're coming for next? At this point in time, Premier League clubs should start getting upset and warning Bayern Munich off. Yeah, because before when they're doing it to the Bundesliga, we were all right.
Yeah.
But to come to the Premier League and start raiding the next rated players, come on. But they've done it, and Michael Olise will be happy for it.
5 years?
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Okay, he'll be fine.
Worst case scenario, if he doesn't deliver on his promise, they'll sell him and make profits.
Okay.
Good business for everybody involved.
Fine place for us to get in messages now. Messages got AY from Oniru's messages saying, well, there were about 48 fouls in that Brazil-Uruguay match. What do we call that?
I said it was
Rugby?
a war. It was Shaolin football. People are saying that it was football.
And Orov is saying, I haven't been following football seriously. Are Super Eagles, are they showing up for the where's this one coming? Super Eagles for Olympics.
Okay, so let me explain. Yeah. Let me explain. For men's football, it's usually the under 23 team. So it's an age grade football for men. For the women's football, it's the
See.
national team. So that's the difference. So Super Eagles do not play at the Olympics. It's the under 23 team that plays. But yeah, they didn't qualify. But the women, as usual, my gender, we made it.
Yes, girl power.
Zibi, you may not have been informed about this, but it's good you know now. We're looking for sponsorship. There's going to be a 5-a-side penalty, and a listener has called out Tega for a penalty shootout, and we Tega don't take penalties like that unless they are sponsors.
And do you understand?
Absolutely.
Don't
and
try me.
Tega will take the penalty.
Tega will.
Mohammed?
It's
Mohammed.
he's come for you with messages here
You
saying
have, you have picked the sport, Abi.
he says, now wow, best way enough he plays sports. I became a journalist, he's telling great. So that's why I said, you guys will settle this beef.
Mohammed.
On the pitch.
Mohammed,
Just let your money
you are
stand.
just making all this noise. I said pick a sport. 5-5 penalty. We'll film it and we'll play it on the locker room. I want to disgrace you
Let's settle
publicly.
this.
I don't like all this WhatsApp, embarrassment. You understand? I want us to meet face to face. Look me in the white of my eyeball.
Like
and tell
Pickford,
me,
right?
I know. No. And tell me this thing. All right. On that note, thank you for sending your messages to WhatsApp. Thank you for sending your messages into YouTube. Thank you for tuning into Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. Till I beat Mohammed in the penalty shootout. Bye for now.
Oh my days.
Mohammed is finding my trouble.
Like, just drop the money. I will show up with our soccer boots. Oh my day. Tega, have you stopped? Oh.